Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. My name is Wyz Motorsport and today I'm going to give you my 2023 Nascar Cup Series playoff prediction. I'm going to talk about all the stats and performances of the drivers during the regular season, then tell you who will make or miss the next rounds of the playoffs until the championship four at Phoenix and predict who will be the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's start with the 16th driver of the playoffs and the last to qualify for the playoffs during the last race of the regular season at Daytona, Bubba Wallace, driver number 23 for 2311 Racing. With 0 wins, 4 top 5s, 6 top 10s, and an average finish of 16.8 and 6 DNFs. So the season of Bubba is okay, not bad but not that great either. His objective of the season was objectively being to qualify for the playoffs, and he managed it. So we know that the 23 team is a pretty slow starting team. At the beginning of the season, it's mediocre at best. Then it start to improve a little bit, and during the end of the season, they're pretty good. Now he managed to qualify for the playoff. Watch out to that 23 team. Even though they don't look that sharp this year, it doesn't mean that during the playoffs they are not interesting. Last year, when Bubba replaced Kurt to drive the 45, he wins Kansas, and he was pretty good during that race until, of course, the race at Las Vegas when he wrecked Kyle Larson and got suspended for it. But otherwise, it was a pretty good season last year during the playoffs. So watch out to that 23 team, because those races that are coming up during those beginning rounds are pretty good for the resume of Bubba Wallace. Number 15, Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Ford for Stewart-Haas Racing. No, but seriously, what a horrible season for Stewart-Haas. They really fell off from what they were only 4 years ago. But of course, their only bright spot is Kevin Harvick with 6 top 5s, 12 top 10s, an average finish of 13.8 and 1 DNF. Yes, Kevin Harvick fell off from his normal statistical number and announced that it will be the last season of Kevin Harvick. So yes, Stewart-Haas really fall off. That 4 team is pretty good. I mean, it's not that great, not far from it, but at least here, even when they don't see it, they're here to at least run top 10, top 15, when the others are running top 30. What, man? Now that Harvick is going to leave at the end of the season and be replaced by Josh Berry, I don't know how Stewart-Haas is going to manage that. Let's see if they can bounce back, but right now, it's the only shot maybe to try and get the championship, but it would be really huge circumstances. They need really huge circumstances to this to happen. But right now, Harvick is okay. Managed to get qualified 8 points through the playoffs, and let's see if Ford and Stewart Haas can bounce back from this. Number 14, Ricky Happy Stenhouse Jr., driver of the number 47 for JTG Doherty Racing, with 1 win, 2 top 5s, 7 top 10s, an average finish of 16.7, and 2 DNFs. Good season so far for JTG Doherty and Ricky, with of course a win at the Daytona 500. But even with that, Ricky didn't really show consistent speed during the regular season. I don't think that they might bring what they don't think they will bring something to the table during those playoffs. I would be happy to see them deep during the playoffs, but they didn't show anything truly to deserve, firstly, to be here, only by their win at Daytona. Otherwise, they're just a mid-pack team, a 20-pack top 20 team, which is good. It's a better season than last year, of course. But I'm good. I'm happy they're here, but I don't expect them to make a deep playoff run. Number 13, Michael Mcdowell, driver number 34 for Front Row Motorsports, with 1 win, 2 top 5s, 6 top 10s, an average finish of 18.5, and 2 DNFs. A really solid season for Michael. Even though his numbers are pretty low for what he's shown during the regular season, and being the worst average finish of all the playoff drivers, they peaked at the right time. They were a bit slower at the beginning of the season, but steadily improved while the regular season was going on, and managed to peak at the right time by winning the Indy Road Course, beating out Daniel Suarez and Chase Elliott to win and punch his ticket to the playoffs. So this 34 team are peaking at the right time just before the playoffs, and now that he's in, watch out. He could be a sleeper pick and might make a deep run. You just need to watch out. The 34 team are pretty good. Number 12, Ryan Blaney, driver number 12 for Penske Racing, with 1 win, 4 top 5s, 12 top 10, and an average finish of 15.8 with 2 DNFs. It's a pretty mid-season for Ryan, that 12 team, even though they managed to break their win streak by winning the Cup 600. It's truly their only highlight of the season. And yes, even if the entire Penske camp was quite disappointing this season, it still shouldn't be the case for at least the number 12 and his teammate that we will talk about later. But Penske is Penske, and you know that during the playoffs they managed to win and punch their way deep into the playoffs. So even though this regular season was pretty okay for Blaney, we should pick up a lot during those playoffs, because he needs to show that he still got the potential to be a championship caliber threat. But right now, during this season, he didn't show it. Let's see if in the playoffs he can turn his season around. Number 11, Joey Logano, driver number 22 for Penske Racing and teammate of Ryan Blaney, with 1 win, 8 top 5s, 13 top 10s, an average finish of 15.2, and 4 DNFs. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say exactly what I said for Blaney. Joey Logano and the team Penske was slow, even though Joey was their best driver this season statistically, with more top 5s and 1 more top 10 than Blaney. It's still a pretty disappointing season. Yes, he won at the Atlanta Superspeedway, but yet again, he's the defending series champion, and he should step up, shown a lot more, be more than threat for this championship again. But yeah, Penske this year are pretty disappointing. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's true. They're disappointing this year, and who knows? Again, even though this regular season was pretty mediocre, they could step it up for the playoffs. And let's see if Joey or Blaney can make a deep playoff run. Number 10, Tyler Reddick, driver number 45 for 2311, a teammate of Bubba Wallace, with 1 win, 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s, an average finish of 16.9 and 3 DNFs. Well, for first season in his new team, Reddick really did what I expected. Winning a race, pretty solid during the beginning of the season, but the issue is that Reddick this year is pretty inconsistent with in a week will be running top 5, in the other win running top 20. It's pretty complicated for him. Being in a lot of incidents, having his team struggle in the pits, a lot of races he should have won. He should have won Michigan late this season, but unfortunately his team screwed up and make his title loose. So again, solid, but if they manage to be a lot more clean, they should maybe do a deep run, because Tyler Reddick and the 45 team were pretty good in the beginning of the season, were pretty solid. But right now, I don't know, man, who knows? Again, the playoffs, they can bring the big guns, and who knows if 23-11 might do something big this year. Number 9, Brad Keselowski, driver number 6 for RFK Racing, with 6 top 5s, 11 top 10s, an average finish of 13.8 and 2 DNF. Wow, what a turnaround season for Keselowski and that RFK team. Yes, they steadily improved from last year, managing to qualify on points for the playoffs. Yes, he lacks wins, except for his teammate, but otherwise they were pretty solid. This team, the number 6 team, is pretty solid, pretty consistent. They're driving top 10, top 13, sometimes get some top 5. A pretty solid season for them right now. And who knows, they can again step it up a notch during those playoffs, because they are truly the hottest team right now, because they are peaking in the perfect time just before the playoffs, clinching 3 out of 5 wins during those last 5 races. Yes, no, it's not with Brad, but again, Brad was pretty solid during those last races. And yes, who knows, RFK can be a threat to win this championship, or at least for this 6 team make a deep playoff run. Number 8, Ross the Melon Chastain, driving the number 1 for Trackhouse Racing, with 1 win, 6 top 5s, 9 top 10, an average finish of 15.3 and 2 DNFs. Well, the wheel for Chastain this season was not still imperfect, except when he won at Nashville, but otherwise, for a guy who managed to be second in points last year, it's pretty disappointing season, even though it's quite expected for a team like Trackhouse being in the 3rd year. Last year, they really shown they were capable of being a top team. Right now, they're pretty mid, they're okay, they're not the best Chevy team, but they are at least the 3rd best team in Chevy right now. But I don't know, these playoffs might be a little tricky for Ross. Who knows, but I don't expect them maybe to make a deeper run than last year. But who knows, he's not a one-trick pony and can do a lot of things to impress us. Even though this year he was pretty transparent, he was pretty clean. He managed to finish races, avoid like controversy, avoid contact with other drivers. Even though at the beginning of the season he did, yes, I think Noah still remembers his punch. But otherwise, it's an okay season for us for a Trackhouse. Yes, Daniel Suarez didn't manage to qualify for this year's playoffs, but it's expected because I guess this Trackhouse team is okay right now. They're not impressive, and yeah, but I don't know. Who knows? He could still again show us why he's a special driver. But right now, I don't expect him really to make a deep playoff run, but who knows? Number 7, Christopher Bell, driver the number 20 for Joe Gibbs Racing, with 1 win, 6 top 5s, 13 top 10s, an average finish of 13.6 and 3 DNFs. Well, I'm quite disappointed for Seabell. One win during the regular season at the Bristol Dirt. He didn't really truly show speed than his other teammates. This year, they didn't really execute it as well as last year, even though, yes, last year they were in nearly the same position, but last year they were starting to pick a little bit at the beginning of the end of the season for starting the playoffs. Right now, it's quite the opposite around. He had a pretty good first half of the season, but during the summer stretch, he was quite absent. He didn't really show speed that his teammates, that we're gonna talk about later, had, and I don't know if they could bring in. So I just turned this video and I just had the info that the pit crew team of Ty Gibbs and the pit crew team of Bell would be switching up. So now Christopher Bell would have a better pit crew. So who knows? It might change a lot during those playoffs because we know that in the pit road the execution is key. Who knows? I don't know if the 20 team will have the clutch season that they had last year when they managed to make the championship 4. Who knows? But I'm pretty mixed about his season. In the other hand, it's good. In the other hand, he should do a lot more better. But who knows? In the playoffs, anything goes. Anything could happen, and they might prove me wrong. Number 6, Young Money himself, Kyle Larson, driving number 5 for Hendrick Motorsports, with 2 wins, 10 top 5s, 12 top 10s, an average finish of 16th, and 6 DNFs. Well, what an up and down season for Kyle Larson and that 5 team. At the beginning of the season, they were dominating the races, winning at Martinsville and Richmond. But besides that, and quite dominating stages, battling for wins at Kansas and Pocono, they had speed, but at the same time, they had 6 DNFs. They are one of the teams with the most DNFs from all the playoff drivers. And that could be costly because no mistake is allowed for those playoffs. And I don't know if this team could execute perfect to make it past for the other rounds. I don't know about that 5 team, but who knows? They always show speed. Larson is Kyle Larson. Hendrick Motorsport always has something up their sleeves, and who knows? They might show me wrong again. But I don't know. But again, Kyle Larson is Kyle Larson. And maybe in the playoffs he might burst and explode, dominate everyone. Who knows? They just need to show the speed that they had at the beginning of the season, and they might clutch it. Number 5, Kyle Rowdy Busch, driver number 8 for RCR, with 3 wins, 8 top 5s, 14 top 10s, and an average finish of 14.1 with 5 DNFs. Well, guess who's here? Rowdy is here. Kyle Busch, well, what a big season for a guy who just left Joe Gibbs to mid-team as RCR and turning the heck out of that team. That number 8 was fast and it's still fast, even though it's pretty inconsistent right now. At the beginning of the season, they were pretty consistent. They managed to get 3 wins at Worldwide Technology Raceway, at the Auto Club Speedway, and at Talladega. He nearly won at the beginning of the season. He was fast. He was bad fast. He won the Daytona 500. He won the all first 3 races. But yeah, this season is a good season for Kyle since he joined that 8 team. But the issue is that during this the end period for starting the playoffs, they struggled a little bit because I think the edge that they had at the beginning of the season quite lost it. I don't know about that, but who knows? Kyle Busch is Kyle Busch, and RCR could maybe bring big guns for those playoffs. who knows? He might show that he still got it. That he's still is a two-time NASCAR Cup champion nonetheless, and he's still the best in the business. So who knows? Maybe in this playoffs he might explode and make a big impact for his first season at RCR, maybe a deep playoff run. So who knows? But again, don't write Kyle Busch down. Number 4, Christopher Buescher. What was that? Anyway, number 4, Chris Buescher, and driver number 17 for RFK Racing, with 3 wins, 6 top 5s, 12 top 10s, an average finish of 12.2 and 1 DNF. Chris, what a season he's giving us. We talked about it a little bit about when we talked about the season with Keselowski, but again, this RFK team, this 17 team, in fact, is bad fast during the end of the season. They are picking at the perfect time. 3 wins at the last 5 races, a win in Richmond and Michigan back to back, and the win at the Coke 400 at Daytona. Man, what a season they are giving us, and what a turnaround for Chris Buescher. Being a mid-pack driver team his entire career, yes, being the 2015 NASCAR Xfinity champion, beating the likes of Chase Elliott. Chris is really an underrated driver, and right now I love the fact that now he's putting himself in the map, and he may be a championship threat, or at least a guy who can be a threat for that playoff and make a deep playoff run. So who knows? That 17 team are bad fast and are one of the hottest teams right now. So who knows? They might be big during those playoffs. Well, it's Denny Hamlin season. What I'm gonna say? 2 wins on the year, a win at Kansas and a win at Pocono. But again, those 2 races was fighting against Kyle Larson. So this season, Denny Hamlin is doing Denny Hamlin things. It's pretty solid, consistent. Not gonna say anything about it. It's a pretty good regular season. Even though this year he might have a lot of enemies. When he said last year that Ross drives like a hack, well, this year he's the hack because he's driving pretty aggressively a lot of drivers, and especially Kyle Larson. So who knows? Watch out, Denny. You might have one back by Larson. So again, a pretty solid season for Denny. Expect a deep playoff run, but with the enemies that he's making that he made during the regular season, especially against Kyle Larson, watch out. If those 2 are battling like Martinsville, Larson is putting the bump on him. Number 2, William Byron, driver number 24 for Hendrick Motorsport, with 5 wins, 9 top 5s, 13 top 10s, an average finish of 12.8 and 3 DNFs. Finally, the breakout season that everybody expected. William Byron and his 5 wins on the year. Well, finally, Byron has his breakout season. A really solid season. This 2014 was bad fast all year long. Even though I'm gonna give a little gripe of his season, was his summer stretch. Yes, he started the year really strong by 2 wins in a row at Phoenix and Las Vegas, then a win at Darlington, and won a rain-shortened race at the Atlanta Superspeedway. But when he won that last race, the team struggled a little bit. Didn't have the finishes that we expected during the beginning of the season, until his 5th win at Watkins Glen, making him the winningest driver of all the playoff drivers. But again, besides that, and beside that summer stretch, it's still a dangerous team to face off. And we need to watch out because this 24 team could be really a danger for these playoffs and may make a deep playoff run and maybe go into that championship. But who knows? Because we have only one left, and this one is a big one. And number one, Martin Truex Jr. MTJ, driver of number 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing, with 3 wins and 9 top 5s, 15 top 10s, an average finish of 11.4 and 1 DNF, and has clinched the 2023 regular season championship. Last but not least, Martin Truex Jr. Well, 180 in performance. What a turnaround season from last year, being winless last year, and now having 3 wins on the year and being one of the most consistent drivers with the best average finish of all the playoff drivers. This team is a threat for this championship. So I nearly have nothing to say about his season. He was consistent, he was solid, the team executed perfect nearly every race. But now it's my turn to say who doesn't make each round. So now let's start my 2023 NASCAR Cup Series playoff prediction. Here we are at last. The regular season is over and the playoffs are here. 16 drivers, 4 rounds, but only one champion. The first round, the round of 16, will consist of Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol. Now, let's see my prediction for who goes through and who gets eliminated of the first round. And so, for that first round, the round of 16, I see eliminated Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Kevin Harvick, Michael Mcdowell, and Christopher Bell. Yes, I eliminated all those 4 drivers. Sorry for Harvick and his last season. Unfortunately, I don't see the speed and don't expect Stenhouse Racing to improve for the beginning of the playoffs. Maybe at the end of the season, but right now they don't have the speed and they didn't show it. Stenhouse Jr. is pretty evident. I'm happy for them for the Daytona 500, but they can't do anything. They didn't show nothing during the season, and at least they're here. Michael McDowell, I'm sorry, but even though he's win at Indy, his beginning of the season and his average finish, I don't expect him to make that much. And the biggest surprise for the first round elimination is Christopher Bell, because I don't know. I don't see this team make the deep run they did last year. I don't know if they can clutch it. Maybe. I would love to, but I don't know. I don't think they have the speed because they had other teams that shown a lot more than this 20 team. And so, the drivers that are going through for the next round are Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Joe Logano, Bubba Wallace, and Brad Keselowski. Here we go for the second round, the round of 12. The round of 12 will consist of the Texas, Talladega, and the Charlotte Roval. 12 drivers are remaining. Who will make the round of 8? And so, the 4 drivers I will eliminate for the round of 12 are Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, and Ross Chastain. Yes, because both of the 2311 cars are not consistent enough. Didn't show that much of speed, especially Bubba. Even though I see him make through the round 16 because he has pretty good races in the round 16. So I see maybe clutch win or at least a couple top 5s in those 3 rounds. Well, those races in the round 12 are not suited for him well, except for Talladega. Talladega, everything could happen. Anyways, So I don't see Bubba or Reddick pass, and I don't see Blaney because I don't expect him to improve as much. I don't know. I see his teammate through, but not him. And for Ross, well, Ross, I don't think he will pull another miracle off his hat. Who knows? But I don't think he made it through. So there's that. And so my 8th qualified are Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Joe Logano, and Brad Keselowski. Now we're out at the 3rd round, the round of 8, that consists of Las Vegas, Homestead Miami Speedway, and Martinsville. So who will be out of round of 8? And so the 4 drivers I see out of this round are Joe Logano, Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, and Denny Hamlin. Yes, I eliminate both RFK cars because they did an amazing season, and I see them do a deep playoff run. But I don't see the thing. They maybe like something to make at least one of their cars make through the championship four, and I don't expect them to at least one of them make it. I will put more on Chris than Brad, who knows. But otherwise, great season, deep playoff run, truly what they needed, truly what they deserve for these playoffs. Joe Logano, I eliminate him. Yes, he's the best Penske of them, this year so far. But I don't see him. I don't see him speed. The speed wasn't. He didn't show speed enough in the entire season. I don't expect him to make it. He at least did a pretty good playoff run, but I don't expect him to clinch again his 3rd championship. And Denny Hamlin, that might be a surprise to some, but I just don't know. Again, the Hamlin luck, I think, will strike again because Hamlin made too much enemies, and mostly Kyle Larson. And so I don't see him making through. Maybe do a good, okay race at Vegas, okay race in Miami, and by wrecked by Kyle Larson and be eliminated of the playoffs. That's at least my prediction. So here are my 4 drivers that are battling for that championship at Phoenix. And those drivers are Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson. 3 Chevys, 1 Toyota, no Fords. But it's what I expect, at least. So here are my championship 4 that will battle at Phoenix. Finally, we arrived at the last race of the season at Phoenix. 4 drivers, but only one can be champion. Martin Truex Jr. in the 19, William Byron in the 24, Kyle Busch in the 8, and Kyle Larson in the 5 for the 4 drivers battling at Phoenix for that precious NASCAR Cup Series championship. So, 3 of them, Kyle Busch, Truex, and Kyle Larson, already won the championship. William Byron didn't. Martin Truex season, a great season. I just have nothing to say, as well as William Byron. A great season for Kyle Busch for his first year RCR, and Kyle Larson being Kyle Larson. Those 200 cars are fast. Martin Truex Jr. is dominant, and Kyle Busch could be a wild card in this playoffs. But only one of these 4 drivers can clinch the championship. So, in my prediction, in my opinion, who will be the 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion is William Byron will be my 2023 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Big hat for everyone. Yes, I see and I expect Byron to win at Phoenix and beating the likes of Truex, Kyle Busch, and Kyle Larson. Because I don't know why, but I think this 24 team is their year. I think Byron this year improved and impressed a lot of us. I didn't expect him to do that good, But right now, I think he's in great shape. The team is in great mood. They have the performance to compete, and I think it will be a tough battle. I expect a tough battle between Truex and Byron, but I think Byron will edge Truex because he won at Phoenix this season, and yes, I don't know. I just feel like this 24 team has what it takes to win their first championship. So here is my champion. And there he is. Here's my 2023 NASCAR playoffs. I hope you liked this video. I hope you tell me in the comments if I'm right, if I'm wrong. If you see someone else, tell me who makes it through and makes it out of each round, and who do you think will be the 2023 NASCAR Cup champion. Otherwise, I was Wiz, and I see you next time.